Hey folks, Machinery Pete here. I'm in my home of Rochester, Minnesota, and look who I bumped into. My friend Dan Sullivan with Sullivan Auctioneers. Dan, you're visiting me in Minnesota. Thanks for coming up.
That's exactly right, Greg. It's always nice to visit with you and over dinner and talk about machinery and land values, and it's always nice to visit with you, Greg.
Well, now you identified land values there, Dan. That's something we've joked about for a long time, but we talk machinery, and it's great fun, of course, compiling these prices 26 years. But let's talk land values today. Now you guys, Sullivan Auctioneers, holy cow! I mean, you're selling a ton of land. What's your pace? How many sales you've had this year and last year? Which would you estimate, Dan?
Yeah, that is nice to talk about, land values, Greg, because we always have talked about machinery, and everybody thinks of Machinery Pete as, farm machinery, which is great, and it's been remarkable what you've accomplished in that. But, of course, naturally, land tied right in with the machinery, and we've been sold more ground already in 2015 than we have all last year of 2014, and land values are remaining very strong, and we're not seeing much weakening in these good tillable tracts of land.
Well, that's interesting, Dan, because everywhere I go, people ask me, hey, what are you hearing about land values? All the auctioneers you talk to. And now you guys sell ground throughout Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, all over the place, and you're seeing values kind of holding there.
We're seeing on the Class A and some of these upper Class B farms is the market, fully steady.
Okay.
Recently sold a farm, and all the results are online at sullivanauctioneers.com. You can click on the results of these farms, but we sold a really good tillable farm here not that long ago for $15,500 an acre. Went over in central Illinois around Peoria, Washburn area, sold a farm for $12,700. Up in Iowa, north of $10,000. So the good land is holding firm, and even in Missouri, where they've had an exceptionally wet year, a lot of prevented planting, kind of had some water issues there, but the good tillable ground is holding firm there. I'm not saying it isn't off a little bit, but not what you might think.
Okay. What do you attribute that to? The fact, because on the outside people might say, gosh, the price of corn is down, land value's got to be dropping. And that's what people come at me with, thinking that's the case, but why do you think they've...
I think, Greg, you buy land over the long haul. You don't buy it on today's market or yesterday's market or tomorrow. You buy it over the long haul, and historically it's been a good place to invest in money is in farmland. Invest your money in that land. And interest rates, naturally with these banks, they're not making much on their money, and so consequently they're putting it into farmland. And the farmers over the last several years have had a lot of good years, and they're still sitting on what we feel is quite a bit of cash. And a good farm comes up next to them, maybe the first time it's been available for years, and then they're buying it, and they're stepping up to the plate, and they're invested in good tillable farmland. Some of the recreational type ground and some of the lesser quality ground is probably off a little bit more, but the good tillable ground, farmers once again have had some good years, and they'll spend the money on that good farm.
Strong balance sheets.
Exactly right. I think there's still a lot of good strong balance sheets out there.
And that piece of ground, it comes up for sale, it's kind of almost a once in a lifetime shot to get it, isn't it?
That's right. When it's sold, it may be a long time before it's ever sold again. And so they're very aggressive on it, and we think that trend is going to continue. As a matter of fact, maybe in the last 30, 45 days, the land has even maybe picked up a little bit. So
really?
A lot of interest, and it's going to be interesting to see this fall. We've got over 5,000 acres online right now coming up in 4 different states.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting to see, but we're going to be able to test the market not only on machinery but on land this fall as well.
Yeah, Dan, and you were telling me you're literally having 3 to 4 land auctions a week?
It's been really wild. We've been running probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4 sales a week on land. So it's there's a lot of it out there, but over a wider area. So It isn't like it's just in one little small minute area. So it's there's a lot of land on the market over a wide area and a good variety of land, and it's just been a real strong.
Right. Well, and what about I get asked a lot. People think a lot of this is investor money upholding the market. What's your comment?
There's a lot of investor out there and funds buyers that are showing interest in the land. Here lately, the last few years when this land got high, those investors are there. They're registered. They're participating in the auction. But when the gavel drops, most of the time, it's a farmer or a 1031 land exchange buyer that's sold and reinvested in land. It's hard to take out a local farmer on these farms that are joining them or close by. It's hard for an investor to outbid that local farmer.
Right. Well, Dan, I got to say, I love how you guys do your website, sullivanauctioneers.com, how you list prices. on their land auctions, and you've even done some videos.
Yeah, we try
to
to be pretty transparent on our results, not only on machinery but on land. And of course, Greg, we appreciate everything you've done. It's always nice to visit with you and keep up the good work. And we'll be following you along as well as machinerypete.com.
Well, one of these days I'm going to drop down and take in one of your land sales, Dan.
We'd love to have you, Greg.
Fun to visit with you, and thanks for coming to Minnesota.
You too. Thank you, Greg.